Ever since the birth of cinema, filmmakers have drawn inspiration from all sorts of places. One common place to go for stories has been history, with historic epics such as Ben-Hur, Cleopatra, and Lawrence of Arabia proving to be not only critical, but financial successes. Amongst these was 1960's The Alamo, starring John Wayne, a Western classic. However, when the film was remade in 2004, things didn't quite go as well the second time around. When looking at the original film, it's worth noting that it wasn't exactly what most would call historically accurate. However, truth has never been something that mattered to filmmakers when telling historical stories. The lack of legitimate facts within historical films didn't make them any less entertaining. The 1960s Alamo took advantage of the battle's cultural significance and crafted an engaging story about rebels facing off against an overwhelming force in heroic fashion, and put Wayne at the center of it as Davy Crockett, a man whose actual exploits have largely been exaggerated and turned into the stuff of folktales by this point. On paper, making a new version of the Alamo made sense. Wayne's classic films continue to have great brand value, and the success of other historical epics around that time made making a new Alamo film really appealing. What the studio didn't take into consideration, though, is that the original was so successful largely because of John Wayne. So what we wound up getting was a much more dour, serious film that stuck a bit closer to actual historical events, and as such, had a bit of an uphill battle, as despite its cultural significance, in actuality the Battle of the Alamo was a fairly minor skirmish in the grand scheme of the war. And casting Billy Bob Thornton as Crockett might have seemed good on paper, but his eccentricity stuck out like a sore thumb in a film that was otherwise fairly serious. Texans may say to remember the Alamo, but no one probably remembers the 2004 film, as it wound up becoming a massive box office flop.